Hello and welcome to another video by Econo Insight. In this video, we are going to discuss the reason behind the rise in wages, and we are going to take the example of the Black Plague. To give you some context, the Black Plague occurred in 14th and 15th century Europe. It is a very deadly, contagious epidemic. It killed 30 to 60% of Europe's population, so hence it has a negative impact on the supply of labor, significant negative impact on the labor supply and on the economy. But the interesting is that where wages were observed to increase. Question is why? To answer this, we need to use the Cobb-Douglas production function that we said before. If you don't know about this, watch the video regarding the Cobb-Douglas production function simply explained. So, we have the Cobb-Douglas production, which is YT, our output, is equal to 80. AT, which is our technology, which is KT, the economy's supply of inputs, the power of beta, the share of output paid to capital, multiplied by LT, which is the economy's supply of labor, to the power of 1 minus beta, which is the share of output paid out to labor. Now we know when we maximize our profit, in order to know the wages that we pay our laborers, in accordance with the profit maximization rule, the wages, which is WT, should equal MPLT, which is the marginal product of labor. If you don't know what the profit maximization condition is, watch the video which describes profit maximization conditions. So essentially, we know that profit maximization for the labor is that wages must equal the marginal product of labor. So now we have to see, how do we derive marginal product of labor? And we derive this from our Cobb-Douglas production function. In that case, we just use calculus. We take the partial derivative, right? Then we then arrive at our marginal product of labor. So let's do that now. So let's see, right? What do you call this? Marginal product of labor, what we're finding at a time t, equals to the partial derivative of the labor here. So we take the partial derivative of this portion here, which is simply 1 minus beta multiplied by LT, and we reduce 1 minus beta minus 1 is minus beta. Then we multiply the rest here. This just follows through. That's basic calculus. Multiplied by AT to the power of KT minus beta. Now let's combine it so it's easy to see it. MPL, marginal product of labor, equals 1 minus beta multiplied by AT. It's simply combining this, multiplied by KT over LT to the power of beta. The LT, the economy supply of labor, is in the denominator because it's the power of negative beta, right? So we put that downwards in the denominator, and we put all of these in brackets to the power of beta, because the KT also has the power of beta, both has the power of beta, we put beta outside the brackets. So we now have landed to our equation of the marginal product of labor using calculus, which is 1 minus beta. I'm just going to write it down, multiplied by AT multiplied by KT over LT to the power of beta. Note, just to recall, that I mentioned here that in profit maximization condition, the wages is equal to the marginal product of labor. So I'm just gonna, this equals to wages. So now let's analyze our situation based on our formula here. We see that the Black Death reduced population by 30 to 60%. Keyword is there's a reduction in labor supply. So now let's put it here. There's a reduction in labor supply, so LT goes down. Since LT, labor supply, is in the denominator, then when the labor supply goes down, the marginal product of labor goes up. That's just mathematics right there. You can see it from the math. It works. You reduce the labor supply, the marginal product of labor is increasing. And remember, wages is equal to marginal product of labor in profit maximization conditions. So when the marginal product of labor increases, the wages increase. That is why in the Black Death, when there was a reduction in labor supply, the wages increase. Why? Because labor was more productive. So that's the key thing. The key thing of why wages increase when the labor supply reduced is because the marginal product of labor is more productive. And hence, that explains the reason of why when the Black Death was there, the wages rose. But remember, even the wages rose, the output fell, right? Because recall our Cobb-Douglas production function. If we reduce labor supply, then we also reduce output. But if we look in deeper, we take the derivative and we get the marginal product of labor, we see that the wages are rising. So that's something to notice right there. Thank you for watching, and I hope it helps.